1 cup of grapes contains 23 grams of sugar, comparable to a chocolate bar. Does your morning fruit bowl leave you wincing when you stand up later? For seniors with sensitive joints, this seemingly healthy choice might be silently worsening your knee pain. Research shows that high sugar consumption increases inflammatory markers in your bloodstream by up to 30%, directly affecting how your joints feel. Even foods we consider nutritious can harbor hidden dangers for aging knees. If you're over 60 and struggling with knee pain despite eating right, this video will reveal the surprising dietary culprits that may be sabotaging your joint health every day. The hidden danger in your fruit bowl. Do you reach for grapes thinking you're making a healthy choice? You might want to think again. That bowl of grapes sitting on your kitchen counter probably seems like the perfect snack. They're sweet, refreshing, and best of all, they're fruit. For years, we've heard that eating more fruits and vegetables is one of the best things we can do for our health. Many seniors enjoy grapes daily, adding them to breakfast cereal, packing them for a midday snack, or having a small bunch after dinner. But what if this seemingly innocent fruit is actually making your knees hurt more? I know this might sound strange at first. How could something as natural as grapes possibly cause problems? Well, the answer lies in something hiding in plain sight. Sugar. Grapes are like sweet saboteurs, disguising their sugar load behind a healthy reputation. Most people don't realize just how much sugar is packed into those small, colorful berries. A single cup of grapes contains about 23 grams of sugar, almost as much as a regular-sized chocolate bar. A medium apple has about 19 grams of sugar, a cup of strawberries has just 7 grams, and even a medium banana contains about 14 grams. All less than that cup of grapes. Think about how easy it is to eat grapes. They're small, they're tasty, and before you know it, you've eaten 2 or 3 cups without even thinking about it. That's a significant amount of sugar entering your system all at once. Now, grapes aren't bad foods. They contain vitamins, minerals, and helpful plant compounds. The problem is about understanding how your body processes the natural sugars they contain, especially as you age. When we talk about sugar and health, most people immediately think about weight gain or diabetes. But there's another effect that doesn't get enough attention. How sugar affects your joints, especially your knees. This is about how these natural sugars might be triggering processes in your body that make your knees feel worse. The connection between sugar and joint pain becomes clearer when we look at real experiences. Martha, a 72-year-old from Ohio, noticed something odd when she ran out of grapes one week. By Wednesday, I realized my knees weren't hurting as much when I got up from my chair, she said. I didn't connect it to the grapes until I bought more the next week, and the pain came right back. Similarly, Robert, 68, who usually ate about 2 cups of grapes every day, reduced his intake to just half a cup, 3 times a week at his doctor's suggestion. Within 10 days, I noticed I could climb the stairs with less pain. I honestly didn't expect that. These stories match what research has begun to suggest, that high sugar intake, even from natural sources like fruit, might increase inflammation in the body. And inflammation is directly connected to joint pain. You might be wondering, but they're natural sugars. Surely they're better than the sugar in cookies or candy. While whole fruits like grapes are healthier than processed sweets because they contain fiber and beneficial compounds, your body processes all types of sugar in similar ways. The sugar still enters your bloodstream and still has the potential to trigger inflammation. The difference is in how fast the sugar hits your system and how much you consume at once. The fiber in fruit slows down sugar absorption somewhat, but grapes aren't particularly high in fiber compared to other fruits. Plus, their small size and sweetness make it easy to eat a lot of them quickly. Consider Jane, an active 76-year-old gardener who was finding it harder to kneel because of knee pain. After reducing her grape consumption from daily to just once a week, she noticed significant improvement. After about 2 weeks, I could get down to pull weeds much more easily. My knees still aren't perfect, but the improvement was clear enough that I know the grapes were affecting me. So what happens in your body when you eat grapes? The connection has to do with how sugar affects your immune system and triggers certain inflammatory responses. When inflammation increases, joints that already have some damage or wear and tear, like the knees of many older adults, often feel more painful. Could your favorite healthy snack be causing your knee pain? For some people, especially seniors with existing joint issues, the answer might be yes. This doesn't mean grapes are your enemy. It means understanding how they affect your specific body might help you make better choices for your joint health. What makes this complicated is that we're all different. Your body at 65, 70, or 80 isn't the same as it was at 30 or 40. The way you process sugars changes with age. Your joints have experienced more wear and tear. Your immune system works differently. All these factors mean that foods that never bothered you before might affect you now in new ways. The good news is that if grape sugar is contributing to your knee pain, simply reducing how many you eat might help you feel better within just a few days. And there are plenty of lower sugar fruits that can satisfy your sweet tooth without the same potential for increasing inflammation. But before we talk about those alternatives, let's understand exactly what happens in your body after you eat grapes. The sugar enters your bloodstream. And then what? How does that sugar actually reach your knees and potentially make them hurt more? The process starts just hours after eating and follows a specific path through your body. Let's look more closely at how grape sugars affect your body differently than you might expect, and why your knees might be sending you signals about this seemingly healthy food. The sugar-inflammation connection. What happens in your body just hours after eating that bunch of grapes? The answer explains a lot about your knee pain. Let's follow those sweet grapes as they begin their journey through your body. When you eat grapes, your body breaks down their natural sugars very quickly. These sugars, mainly glucose and fructose, enter your bloodstream soon after you swallow them. This is when your body starts responding in ways you might not realize. First, your blood sugar level rises. Your pancreas notices this change right away and releases insulin to move sugar from your blood into your cells for energy. This happens with sugar from any source: grapes, cookies, or bread. This normal sugar handling process can trigger inflammation in some people, especially as we age. When blood sugar rises rapidly, as it does with sweet foods like grapes, your body releases compounds called cytokines that signal an inflammatory response. It's similar to how a car accelerates quickly when you press the gas pedal hard, but then struggles to maintain smooth performance afterward. Inflammation is your body's protection mechanism. When you cut your finger, the area gets red, warm, and swollen. That's visible inflammation helping you heal. But sugar causes invisible inflammation inside your body that you can't see but might feel, especially in your knees. Research shows that for sensitive individuals, sugar consumption can increase inflammatory markers in the bloodstream by up to 30%. That's significant if you already have knee problems. My doctor explained that every time my blood sugar spikes, it's like throwing gasoline on the inflammation fire in my joints, says Henry, a 73-year-old who recently reduced his grape consumption. I had no idea my afternoon snack could be making my knees worse. What does this inflammation actually feel like in your knees? Many describe it as a deep ache or stiffness, especially after sitting for a while. You might find it harder to get up from a chair, or your knees feel stiffer in the morning. Some people feel warmth around their knee joint or a sensation of pressure and swelling. For Elaine, 68, the feeling was unmistakable. About 3 hours after eating a big bowl of grapes, I would notice my knees felt tight and achy. It was like clockwork, but I never connected it to what I was eating until my physical therapist asked about my diet. The timeline is crucial to understand. Here's what typically happens. 15 to 30 minutes after eating, blood sugar begins rising. 1 to 2 hours later, inflammatory response begins. 2 to 4 hours later, knee pain or stiffness becomes noticeable. This delay explains why many people never connect their food choices to their knee pain. The cause and effect aren't immediate, making the pattern easy to miss. This process is particularly problematic for seniors who already have joint wear and tear or arthritis. Your knee joints have cushioning cartilage that helps them move smoothly. Over time, this cartilage naturally wears down. When inflammation increases from sugar consumption, it can make these already sensitive areas much more painful. Imagine your knee joint as two pieces of wood that rub together as you move. Normally, there's a smooth surface between them. When inflammation increases, that surface gets rougher and more sensitive, making every movement harder and more painful. I've had mild arthritis in my left knee for years, says Robert, 75. But I noticed certain days it would flare up and feel much worse. After keeping a food diary, I realized those bad days often came after I'd eaten lots of grapes or other sweet fruits. The sugar-inflammation connection is tricky because it can happen even with foods we consider healthy. Fruits like grapes contain beneficial vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. However, if you're sensitive to sugar's inflammatory effects, these benefits might be offset by joint pain. The path from grape consumption to knee pain follows this route. You eat grapes, your digestive system quickly breaks down the natural sugars. Your blood sugar rises rapidly. Your pancreas releases insulin, and inflammatory compounds called cytokines are released. These cytokines reach your knee joints, making pain receptors more active if you already have joint sensitivity or damage. This process becomes more complex when combined with other factors. Extra weight puts more pressure on your knees. Dehydration prevents joints from moving smoothly. Inactivity weakens the muscles supporting your knees. Combined with sugar-induced inflammation, these create ideal conditions for knee pain. It was everything together, says Shirley, 71. The extra weight I was carrying, not drinking enough water, and eating foods that increased my inflammation. Once I addressed all these things, my knees felt so much better. For many seniors, reducing sugar intake is one of the easiest factors to control. You can't reverse years of knee wear and tear overnight, but you can change what you eat today. Many people notice improvements quickly when they reduce inflammatory foods. James, 69, was skeptical but willing to try. I didn't believe changing my diet would help my knees. But after just 5 days of cutting back on grapes and other high-sugar fruits, I could walk further without pain. It wasn't a miracle cure, but it was a noticeable difference. The sensitivity to this sugar-inflammation connection varies significantly between individuals. Some can eat grapes daily without joint pain, while others experience dramatic improvement when reducing grape consumption. Age, existing health conditions, weight, activity level, and genetics all influence how your body responds to grape sugars. Understanding these factors can help determine your personal sensitivity. Are you someone who needs to be careful about grape consumption, or can you enjoy them freely? Let's explore what determines your sensitivity to grape sugars and what that means for your knee health. Not everyone is equally vulnerable. Why do grapes seem to bother some people's knees while others can eat them without issues? The answer has a lot to do with your personal health situation. Our bodies don't all work exactly the same way. You and your neighbor might eat the exact same foods but have completely different reactions. This is especially true when it comes to how foods affect joint pain. Some seniors can eat grapes every day without any problems, while others notice their knees hurt more after just a small bunch. Let's talk about who needs to be most careful with grapes. If you have certain health conditions, you might be much more likely to notice that grapes make your knee pain worse. Understanding if you're in one of these groups can help you make better choices for your joint health. If you already have arthritis, you're more likely to notice grape-related knee pain. Your joints already have inflammation, and the sugar in grapes can intensify this. The Arthritis Foundation notes that sugar may trigger inflammation in the joints, potentially making your symptoms worse. Many people with arthritis find that their pain levels change based on what they eat, and sugar is often a major trigger. I've had arthritis in both knees for about 8 years, says Eleanor, 73. I never connected my diet to my pain levels until my doctor suggested I pay attention to what I eat before my pain flares up. I was surprised to find that grapes were one of my triggers. Diabetes or prediabetes also puts you in a higher risk group. Your body already struggles to manage blood sugar properly. When you eat grapes, which contain natural sugar, your blood sugar can spike more dramatically than it would in someone without diabetes. These blood sugar swings can increase inflammation throughout your body, including in your knee joints. Tom, 67, discovered this connection after his diagnosis. My doctor told me to watch my carbohydrates, including fruit sugar. When I cut back on grapes, I noticed my morning knee stiffness improved within a week. I was really surprised that it made such a difference. Carrying extra weight makes you more vulnerable to grape-related knee pain as well. Every extra pound puts additional pressure on your knees. When you walk, the force on your knees can be 2 to 3 times your body weight. So even 10 extra pounds can put 30 pounds of pressure on your knees with each step. When combined with sugar-induced inflammation, your knees feel it much more. Margaret, 70, experienced this firsthand. I've always struggled with my weight, and my knees have bothered me for years. When I started eating fewer grapes and other high-sugar fruits, I noticed less pain within days, even before I lost any weight. Age itself affects how your body handles sugar in grapes. As we get older, our metabolism changes. Many seniors don't process sugars as efficiently as they once did. The natural sugars can stay in your bloodstream longer, potentially causing more inflammation. Your body also doesn't recover from inflammation as quickly as it used to, which is why foods that never bothered you in your younger years might cause problems now. The medications you take could also make you more sensitive to food-related inflammation. Some medications for heart conditions, blood pressure, or arthritis can change how your body processes certain foods or affect your kidney function, which changes how efficiently your body clears inflammatory compounds. Our knees often show problems first because they bear so much weight. They're constantly working to support you and take pressure throughout the day. This makes them particularly vulnerable to additional stress, like inflammation from sugar. You might have similar inflammation in other joints, but notice it first in your knees simply because they're under more physical stress. Consider what happened to Robert, 72, when preparing for his granddaughter's wedding. I was so excited about dancing at the reception that I snacked on grapes while helping with preparations the day before. That evening, my knees were so stiff I could barely climb the stairs. I hadn't connected grapes to my knee pain before, but the timing made me suspicious. To determine if you're in a higher risk group, ask yourself, do you have diagnosed arthritis in your knees or other joints? Do you have diabetes or high blood sugar? Are you carrying extra weight, especially around your middle? Are you over 70 years old? Do you take multiple medications for chronic conditions? Do you notice that your joints feel stiffer after eating sweets? Have you ever noticed that your knees feel worse the morning after eating fruit? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you might be more sensitive to grape sugar affecting your knees. Multiple yes answers increase the likelihood that reducing grapes could help your knee pain. Susan, 75, fits into several risk categories. I have arthritis, I'm about 30 pounds overweight, and I take medication for my blood pressure. When my doctor suggested I might be sensitive to sugar, I was skeptical. But after cutting back on grapes and other sweet fruits, my knee pain improved enough that I could walk an extra block to see my grandchildren without stopping to rest. This doesn't mean you need to give up grapes completely. Many seniors in higher risk groups can still enjoy grapes in moderation. The key is finding the right balance for your unique body. Mary, 68, found her balance. I have mild arthritis in my knees, so I'm careful with grapes now. Instead of eating them daily, I have them once or twice a week as a special treat. This way, I still get to enjoy them without the knee pain I used to experience. Even if you're sensitive to grape sugar, you have options. You can adjust how many grapes you eat, when you eat them, or what you eat them with. Or you might choose other fruits that don't trigger inflammation for you. Individual differences determine grape sensitivity, and finding your personal grape limit is key to enjoying them without triggering knee pain.